Hello Eggchasers, Tim here, and this video is inspired by the fact it is currently Mental Health Awareness Week, which you may have seen mentioned at a lot of the games on the telly over the weekend, and well, it's been mentioned all over the place, hasn't it? And hey, you will not find a bigger advocate for the power of rugby union to transform lives, well, physically, mentally, holistically, society, community. You won't find a bigger advocate than me. I'm going to be honest though, there's something that's been nagging at me the last couple of days as I've heard all the talk about it. And it's some of the actions that are in the not too distant past. 9 months ago, do you remember? Faced with a very difficult decision about balancing the books after financial mismanagement of the renovation of the East Stand, the impact of COVID and all those things, faced with a very difficult set of financial books that they had in front of them, the RFU chose to, as Alex Lowe in the Times describes it, inflict savage cuts on the grassroots game in England, with every community coach and rugby development officer role to be made redundant as part of the governing body's urgent cost-cutting drive. I understand the need to save money. I can't tally up the way that it was done and that being the outcome because, well, I can't tally up that being the action and then rugby going overboard saying how important mental health awareness is. Because those roles that were culled are the very people who have the biggest impact and the most ability to reach out to the people for whom rugby can have the biggest influence. And think about it now. We can all think of these people in our life, people we've played with, shared changing rooms with, been at rugby clubs with, been members of a club with, that their life would be very, very different were it not for rugby union. Carl Sinclair's a great example. Everyone's talking about him the last couple of days and how well he handled himself, which he did. He'd be the first to say his life would be very different if it wasn't for rugby union. And there's loads of those examples. I'm one of those examples. I was the first person in my family to play rugby. And me, my brother and my mum moved to Newbury when I was 6 after my parents split up. And mum took me along to Newbury Rugby Club. I'd never played rugby before. No one in my family had, but instantly that gave me a community, a sense of identity, friendship groups, and my dad's ace. Love him. He's been a brilliant dad. Always there for me and my brother. But physically speaking, because my parents were split up, he couldn't be there physically. And so Newbury Rugby Club also, there were some positive male role models at that club, which was massive. It's massive for all young people, especially young boys, especially when the hormones kick in. And I'm forever grateful for what rugby has done for me, not just because I'm working in the game now and, you know, I love doing this podcast and this YouTube channel and stuff, but I know I'm a better man and a better dad and a better husband and a better friend because of rugby. I passionately believe that. And my brother's as well, he didn't get on at school at all. He was very dyslexic, lacked a lot of self-esteem, really struggled. Rugby gave him that self-esteem, pumped up his tyres a little bit because it was something he was really good at. He didn't get any A-levels, barely got a GCSE, but he sits there today with a degree. And that actually is because of the RPA. So I'll mention them because it's the Restart Rugby Week for the Rugby Players Association charity, which does amazing work. I've seen firsthand what they do, transitioning professional players from playing rugby to life after rugby. And they've been brilliant for my brother. They do great work, and it's quite apt that it's their week this week. And there's an example of actions. Not talk, not awareness, whilst that's great. There's an example of actions. If there's a rugby player that's struggling, as he's transitioning to life beyond rugby, they're there to help with practical, physical, real, tangible things. And I'll just go back to what rugby did only 9 months ago, when we had to make that choice to some degree, greater or lesser degree. The decision was made to prioritise the professional level of the game at the cost of the community level of the game. And I understand it's difficult. And I know this is something that rugby's wrestling with. There's bigger conversations going on about detangling the grassroots game and separating it from the professional game more formally. But the two were linked. Cuts could have come from all sorts of places. And I understand the decision was difficult. I'm not getting at the people who made that call, but that is the reality. The very people that can reach out and facilitate the powerful impact that rugby can have, they were gone. The decision was chosen to get rid. And as soon as is practicably possible, that needs to be reversed. Or at least we can't just talk about mental health awareness and things like this and then pat ourselves on the back and think, well, job done. I'm a good guy. I've done what I can. Actions are important. And the actions and the words at the minute, for me, aren't totally matching up. And I want them to. I really do. For the good of every single person who I'm passionately an advocate of getting involved in rugby in some level. And if you happen to have just stumbled across this video right now and you've got someone, or you yourself or someone you know could go to a rugby club, get them to your nearest rugby club, because it will set them up for what there will be benefits to it that will last a lifetime. Absolutely guaranteed. Rant over. There we go. I just wanted to say that. There you go. And hopefully, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like. If you want other people to see it, hit share. And through all the little videos on this channel, whether it's our podcast that we do on a Sunday night, whether it's the interviews with British and Irish Lions that JB does, or whether it's ones like this where I just go off on one, hopefully we've earned your little click on the red subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.